I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Daz, it's opening round. It's your first Hawks React on the channel properly in terms of a schedule. Don't overreact. It's one win. It's an amazing win. It's a great win. Last year's grand finalists, away from home, in the wet. All of those things are true. So I promise you, I am not going to overreact. What I will say as my opening statement is that Will Day's going to win the next two Brownlows. Tom Barrass is the All-Australian fullback. Sam Mitchell might just be Jesus. And the Hawks may never lose again. Is that enough for you? So jokes aside, I promise, I feel like there's going to be people in the comment section already that's going to go, he's a lunatic. And that's fine, I kind of am. But in all honesty, there is kind of one word that is summarizing all of my opinions right now, and then we'll dissect, again, everything that comes with that. And that is the word mature. So after the first quarter, where everything looked relatively even, I liked what I saw for the majority of that quarter. The Hawks, of course, put the afterburners on in that second quarter, 20-point lead at halftime, and you went, oh, all right. And this is where I do have to give a lot of credit to my much better half, who noted as Sydney were walking off the ground that they didn't look dejected or even tired, that they looked really angry on the KO footage. And she went, you guys better be sharp when you come out of halftime. And boy, was that right, as the Hawks were put to the sword, less than a kick at three-quarter time, and the Hawthorn sides of last year, minus the last 6 to 8 weeks, might have folded under that. When you're looking at mature improvement, these kind of scenarios prove it perfectly. And this game was the epitome of that, to be able to take on everything that was thrown at us from an oppositional point of view, and we'll talk about that a little bit. I don't want to make this really a Sydney video. Whether Sydney are going to be my midweek video, I don't know, but this is a Hawthorn React, so I want to talk about the Hawks from a major point of view. But I just thought the fact that the Hawks could weather the storm, the break came at a really good time, come out, kick the only 3 goals of the last quarter, and go from there. James Sicily's last quarter was unbelievable. The thing with Finn McGuinness on the goal line was really interesting because it wasn't play on, so if the Hawks had stuffed it up, would Dane Rampe have got the 50-metre penalty given against him? Because he should have. But it didn't matter. Finn McGuinness kicked the goal. Sis kicked the one on his left foot, so that's absolutely fine. And then, of course, the Connor McDonald goal, which Sydney fans quite rightly have to be wondering what the hell Ollie Florent was thinking. I know he was looking for it. May have been Matty Roberts in the middle of the ground. Off the top of my head, I am recording this legitimately 6 minutes after the siren went, by the way. Got the office set up, and here we are. Croc was there and took advantage. I think he'd only had 4 or 5 disposals at that point, put it through, critical moment. And that was what was really pleasing to see. Outside of the guys that were great for the Hawks, and of course I'll talk about them in just a second, it's the guys, especially in that second half, who had horrible games that took advantage of it. I did not think Jai Newcomb played a good game of football at all. He had a 5-minute patch in the last quarter that was excellent. Sis down back was still really good. He just one-on-one with anyone except, you know, your monster key forwards. He is just better than. Took his chances when they came, apart from that 50-metre set shot circa the Port Adelaide game, although that kick went left, the one on the weekend, or tonight, went right. That's fine. Made up for it. That's all good. We talked about Connor McDonald. Jack Ginnivan again. He fumbled a lot when it was dry and barely fumbled when it was wet. It was a very strange game from Guinea, to be honest. And I'm also really excited to see what Nick Watson does now that he knows what a defensive forward tag looks like. Sam Wicks deserves a shitload of credit for how well he played, and lots of Swans do as well. Chad Warner, that was a Herculean performance. Will Hayward's job on Sicily in that third quarter was very good, and plenty of other Swans played well as well. James Rowbottom, Justin McInerney had some really good moments. I liked the sub, Tom Hanley. They have found one there, and hopefully Taylor Adams and Jimmy Warple recover from their injuries as soon as possible. But the first half of 2 individual players just set this game apart. And of course, we're talking about Will Day and Lloyd Meek, who were just unbelievable and put together probably one of the better ruck v centre midfielders, ruck rover, whatever you want to call what Will Day was in that first half, that you've seen. It was genuinely incredible to watch, and I know that the footy leading in opening round, games postponed, only 2 games this weekend, that it almost didn't feel real that the footy was starting, and I can completely understand if you're not a Hawthorn or a Sydney supporter how it still feels like that, so I'm not knocking you for that in the slightest, but geez, it felt real once the game got going. Of course, the Swans kicking the first 2 goals, the Hawks then replying. Dean Cox went through a lot of emotions tonight. I love the way he got the Swans to respond in that third quarter. That would be really encouraging. I don't think this loss is too much of a stain on the Swans. I don't think that they're going to go through a disaster period. I am looking forward to the media again overhyping the Hawks at this point. I am looking forward to them underhyping the Swans and we'll see how those two things aged. One of the amazing things that the Hawks did, though, is that they went through a transitional period in that third and then fourth quarter because Will Day did nothing in that third quarter. Josh Battle did nothing in that third quarter. Dylan Moore did nothing in that third quarter of note at all. All of them had really good last quarters. Dylan a little bit quieter in that last quarter, but that is okay. But then Cam McKenzie stood up, played quite well, Frenchie. In contested situations, though, he still seems half a step too slow, but as the season goes on, we improve on those things. I have no doubt he's going to be able to do that, so fingers crossed. That is all well and good, but geez, he was clean in that last quarter. He was unbelievable. Massimo D'Ambrosio, who I don't think had a massive amount of the ball, pardon the pun, but I can't understate just how unreal he is to watch. You know, he's kind of like the extra in movies and TV shows that you just can't help but watch. Now, part of it is because the ground was so slippery, the game quality in that second half wasn't as great to watch. Therefore, watching him on the outside get involved in the contest as a defensive side winger, get back to the goal line, just became more and more prominent, I think, as the quality of ball use, because of the weather, started to slip. So that was really cool to see, but he was fantastic. I've talked about Day and Meek, of course. Amon was fantastic. Harry Morrison had some really clean moments. He really did. I've talked about the Wizards' struggles. Mabior Chol was, I can say, awful during this game, who I think took 2, if not all 3 marks, but one of them was taken off him because of the Sicily free kick. Neither of them were contested. Now, I suppose the good news about it is that he didn't get beaten a whole lot. I think Melican only took 1 or 2 intercept marks, so I mean, you could call that a 0-all draw, and the other major positive is that the Hawks had 26 scoring shots in a game that was half in the wet without a competent tall forward. That's pretty insane when you think about what this group can do to improve. You just can't help but think that a healthy Mitch Lewis just makes this side so much better. But, and I don't know if this is going to be an award moving forward, but if there's a guy who I think deserves a shitload more credit than he got throughout the call, and I don't know whether that's changed or whenever this gets uploaded, the post-game may be talking about him a lot, I don't know, I'm currently recording, as we know, is Connor Nash. Now, he didn't have a hard tag on Heaney, he really didn't, but as soon as the rain came down, that bigger body, he's a lot bulkier, of course, than Will Day is, who at this point in time is just an unbelievable footballer. Will Day, as we know, the overhyping of Wilbur was not over, it was justified, my goodness, throughout the off-season, but having that big, tough, contested ball, especially with Warple going down with his ankle injury, and fingers crossed he is okay, was walking in a moon boot, which probably says that there's no crack or break there. I'm not a doctor, though. What the hell would I know? Although, if you go on Twitter, none of them are fucking doctors either. So, you know, take it for what you will, I suppose. But I keep coming back to that mature word, I really do. Even someone like Jack Scrimshaw, you think about last year, the game against Melbourne, a couple of games last year where he was taken aside by Sam and told about what he was doing wrong and how badly what he was doing wrong was affecting the side. I thought he was unbelievably calm and composed. Barris and Battle, as we said, were unbelievable. If you could sum up just one piece of play from those two boys, it would absolutely be with Joel Amati towards the end of the game. Barris just got his body in there. Amati got the ball back. There was Battle to drive him into the turf. And that just about justified everything that we gave up, both financially and draft pick-wise, for Tom Barris, and is making me feel better about overpaying him in my mock trade. So I'm happy with that as well. The Hawks were plus 15 in intercept marks. Like, this was just nuts. And in terms of what it means towards the Essendon game, well, partly it means, well, the Hawks are on top of the ladder, which is really good. Another part of what it means as well is that the Hawks have not only got some game experience in them, so they're going to be hardened a little bit for the Bombers game. How much that battle-hardened nature versus the freshness of what the Bombers are going to be able to bring is going to be really interesting to see. I'm not going to lie to you, but I come away from this feeling as good and as happy as you can be, because this was a not perfect performance by any means. And to still come away with a semi-comfortable 21-point win is unreal. I think Sicily just needs to play forward at this point. I'm converted. Needs to happen. Dimmer Hardwick can't be the second forward. If he and Sicily are down there together, I can understand it. Although, again, he looks so cool, calm and composed as he has been for a small defender throughout the entirety of his career. So where we see that moving forward is going to be really fun, and I can't wait to see it. Sam Frost as a sub was interesting. Didn't affect us too much, although one scrubby kick to Cam McKenzie. My God, Frosty, what are you doing? But coming out of this game, very happy, excited, overjoyed, keeping a lid on it for now. and hopefully we can attack the Bombers with some vigor. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I might do something on Sydney, probably as a YouTube short, maybe as we continue throughout the weekend, or maybe I might do it tomorrow night on the Saturday because there is no games on. I will wait and see. I will keep you abreast, if you will. But if you haven't checked out the YouTube Shorts, guys, they're actually going off recently, which has been really cool. I'm enjoying your contributions to them. The Hawks were on top of the ladder. Sam Mitchell might be the greatest coach of my lifetime. I am deliberately being dramatic here, guys. But overall, super happy, super pumped. 2025, footy is here. The Hawks are here to stay. Come on, Hawks! This is going to be fun.